Hi, my name's Vanessa Webb, and I'm a co-founder of Nurture Health and Care. And we really want to make a difference to you guys. And we want you to be able to nurture others by us nurturing yourselves. And one of the areas that we really feel we can make a difference is in supervision and clinical supervision. My background started as a nurse many decades ago, too many to want to talk about. And really, at that point in time, it was a very informal affair. But I always was somebody that ran ideas past people and was always thinking about things, but never quite confident enough to definitely have a decision for myself. So, always used that peer support. So, peer really clinical supervision as my go to. And then in medicine, particularly, that really focused around educational supervision. That also occurred within nursing, but in educational supervision, we were looking at feedback and competencies. And as part of this journey, I've undertaken appraisal training. And, back in the day, there was the EMB 998 for anyone that was old enough to remember teaching and assessing as a course. And, I've even, more recently undertaken my Royal College of Physicians update, looking at educational supervision and really exploring that concept of feedback. And then as I've gone through my journey and my career as a leader, I was definitely needing to look for answers. Some of the things that we were dealing with are really scary. There's risk, there's uncertainty, and I often was the last person that people went to with really difficult problems. So that could feel like somebody may end up killing themselves or committing suicide if we didn't make that right decision at that time. And these are weighty decisions. If we miss something to do with child safeguarding, we could have a child come to harm, or somebody that was experiencing domestic violence, that can lead to death. And we have managed and dealt with really challenging environments. And equally, I think we have the danger of litigation and reputational damage, which also adds a burden. And, I feel that I have always admired my staff and have always felt that they only really deserved the very best of everything and have worked really hard. So, to be able to support them through those difficulties when we've got regulatory and litigious environments has also been something that I've felt was really important. My experience of regulatory inspections may be unique to me, but they were really traumatizing. And even when we had positive outcomes, I found them really difficult. And I've worked with police and prisons and immigration estate, children's services, paediatricians, lots of different environments. And, at times there is real difference of professional opinion, and certainly between the legal system and the health system, where one is looking at public interest and the other is looking at very much human rights, probably, and person-centered care. That can be a real and problematic differences of viewpoints. So over the years, I've really benefited, from phoning a friend and continuing that long legacy that I've always gone to through peer support. But I've also now undertaken leadership courses, looked at formal coaching, have had formal supervision, and, undertaken lots of reading and really realised that we need a safe space that is probably independent, because our working environment, albeit that it can be as supportive as we try to make it, and I'm somebody that's always passionately cared about my staff, it's really difficult because you have so many conflicts of interest. And we believe that you would really benefit from that independent, safe space to be able to discuss your ideas and thoughts and feelings. And then I think we also need to build on that restorative model, which is really where we realise that our experience lead to an arousal reaction and also an emotional reaction, and be able to explore those. But we also need to be able to understand that our brains are natural pattern recognizers, and they tend to take previously encountered routes. And that's obviously our unconscious biases. And, things like cognitive science have really helped me understand how to explore, how to do things differently. And we've got to really step outside these biases, but we also need to recognise that our sort of monitoring of evidence-based medicine has maybe led to us normalising averages and, ignoring, those diversity of populations that step outside those. So our model of supervision, we believe, is really important that it's independent, builds on psychological safety. We have the ability to understand trauma-informed approaches. We really recognise, equality, diversity, and inclusion. And we've got facilitators that also understand how our brains work. And what we think is, by exploring in groups how you make decisions and how we are inclusive, how we understand how we learn, how we take responsibility for participating and contributing, and how we challenge and can do that in a safe way, we will build your confidence in practice, that you will be super resilient and be able to, hold fast when there's chaos. Um, but also be able to be flexible enough and dynamic enough to also choose to do things differently. And we think that is a really hard space to find. So hopefully you will enjoy our nurture supervision, and we look forward to meeting you in person.